Babies are back in school, huh? Oh, yeah, they are back. Some of you are homeschooling, some of you have your child in a public or private or charter school. Well, in this episode, I am going to be dropping 10 literacy empowerment tools for your child or children. So, you all stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Real Reading Talk. I am your most gracious host, Miss Sasha. And with Real Reading Talk, I discuss the real systemic issues that are at the very core, the very foundation, as to why we have high levels of illiteracy in the Black community and the ways in which we can combat these issues together. I hope that you are doing absolutely great out there, you guys. I thank you all for joining me once again. I thank you all. For my newbies, I hope that you gain benefit, and I hope that you are entertained as well, because anytime I'm giving a podcast, it's not just the straight information. I like to, say a couple of funny things here and there and just keep you all engaged while I am helping to empowering the community. Now, for my old heads, of course, I appreciate y'all rocking with a sister. You know what I mean? I appreciate you tremendously. So let me get right on into it, y'all. This one, I wanted to make straight to the point. I wanted to use this episode as an empowering tool, all right? Even though all my episodes are like that, duh. Okay, so at least that's the intent, okay? But this one is dedicated to my babies out there, all y'all, in particular from the Black community, okay? Those of you all who are going to school right now, you've started school already, or you're about to start school. I want you all, my children of all ages, I want you all to be empowered, okay? I want y'all to walk into those buildings. For those of you who are in a traditional school setting, I want you to go in there and already have the attitude of, I am brilliant. I am a genius. I am smart. I can do anything that I put my mind to, because I come from a family who supports me, who loves me, who cares about me. They've already put that foundation in me. They believe in me. So I'm not looking to anybody outside of my home to give me that. I'm just looking at you to add to what I already have been blessed with. Okay? So with that being said, I want to use this episode to give 10 empowering literacy tools or keys, okay? These are things that I have been doing with my own children, some things that I came up with over the years. And these are things that I've learned about when I've read different books or listened to different whether it was some type of webinar that I may have been a part of, or any type of video that I was getting information from. So this is where this information comes from, all right? So make sure, like I say with all my episodes, when I put in the description, please have your notebooks, have something to write with, because I want this to be a tool that you can always go back to, okay? So this right here, again, for when you are listening to it, you may have to pause it so you can write it down. You may even come up with your own, which that's what I hope anyway. Anytime I give information, I don't give information to say, oh yes, my information is the be all end all, and y'all just come in here and I just got it all mapped out. No, I don't. I'm learning just like you all are learning as well. In fact, there are folks out there who are listening and y'all know more than me. Okay, you've already been doing this work. You already have seen the successes in your children. So with that being said, let's get right on into it. Okay, so number one, I want you to be intentional about having conversations with your children. Talk to your children. Don't just talk at them and always talk. Having conversation means what? You're talking, they're listening. They're talking, you're listening. Why is this important? This is a very important a crucial tool that helps to build those foundational literacy skills that our children need. All right. So first of all, they are able to, number one, they get to get their thoughts out. They're being heard. They know that they're being valued. And when you're having conversations, it helps to build their vocabulary. That language piece is being built, developed, nurtured, enhanced. All of these different things are happening when you are having conversation with your children. And in fact, I'm going to just read a Kenyan proverb that I got from this book. And oh, yes, y'all already know. Y'all know when I come correct. I'm getting information from our dear brother, Dr. Amos Wilson. And this book right here is Awakening the Natural Genius of Black Children. Here we go. The quote is, or the proverb, what the family talks about in the evening, the child will talk about in the morning. Okay, so that's how we know. You know how when you, for my parents out there, if you're taking your babies to school, or you may go to the school to check on your children, and then sometimes, unfortunately, you hear kids who are just, they either cussing like sailors, or they just talking about all kind of crazy stuff out in the open, no kind of shame, right? And unfortunately, we see a lot of that nowadays. Because even I think, just like I told my kids, and I tell students when I'm in the school subbing, or my students that I tutor, I'm not acting like that when I was a kid, oh no, I didn't say any bad things. I was just this honorable child and obedient, and I didn't try to sneak and do nothing, or I didn't cuss. And no, but one thing's for sure, I can tell you that's different from my generation. I was growing up from this one now. It's that lack of shame and modesty. I mean, my goodness. I mean, kids be out here just cussing like sailors. I'm just like, whoa. But again, my question is, why do you feel like that is something you have to, that has to come out of your mouth all the time? And, you know, a big part of that comes from what they're hearing in their own homes. That's a big part of it. And of course, we could talk about other things like what they're listening to and what they're watching. Yes, all that plays a part, but a lot of it is the conversations that they're hearing around them. And so again, number one, have conversations with your child. Number two, play games like I Spy or the alphabet game. This is a fun game. And I'm gonna tell y'all, you could do this at all ages. I've done this with my kids. We'll be sitting down at the table. It's been times where we're like having our breakfast together or something like that. And then I'll just break. I'm like, okay, y'all, I spy. You know, we just do it all around the room. You know, everybody, like I said, different age groups, because I have, my youngest is 12. I've done that with my children who are, my son who's 18. I've done that with my other daughters. You know, my one daughter now, she's 17. And then my other daughter is 15. But we've done that, them being in there, and we haven't done it like recently, but we've definitely done that in their older ages. Okay. So this is, again, another way for them to sharpen their skills in terms of being detailed, being able to pay attention to what's around them, not just trying to find the obvious. All right. So that right there is number two. Number three, read a book for at least 30 minutes a day to your child, or have them read to you. Make sure that you're doing that. That right there, of course, you know I was going to have that on the list, right? Because again, this is something that we are trying to establish and reestablish in our homes. We're trying to get back that culture of literacy that we once had. All right. Now I know we got the devices, so a lot of times people aren't so quick to pick up those physical copies of books. But I'm going to tell you now, we still have no excuses, because we can actually listen to books on audio as well. So if you as a parent, you know, you got a deadline to meet, maybe you are a parent who works from home and you got your office at home or whatever, you taking care of your business, and you can't really get to that book before they go to bed, have them listen to a story on YouTube. Go to my YouTube channel, Reading is Freedom. Got a plethora of stories. All right. We are in the age of no excuses, period, point blank. All right. So we need to make sure that we are implementing these things. All right. Number four, library trips twice a month. Simple, quick, easy. the library, okay? Making sure you take your kids. And then also too, I just got to say this real quick for my adults out there, when you have your kids going to these libraries, and say if you do have to utilize the library, they have to go there after school because maybe, you have to work overtime or something like that. And so you're utilizing the library kind of like as a safe place for your child to go. I'm gonna tell you now, make sure you establish rules. Make sure that you teach your child how to behave in the library, because the library etiquette of our kids has definitely changed. I'm talking about kids will be running through the libraries now, they talking loud, they playing and all of that. No, they have to learn how to respect the libraries. They have to learn how to respect those spaces. So please make sure that you are implementing that. And then I highly recommend as a parent or a caregiver that you are actually taking your child to the library. All right. Number 5, create a success journal with your child. Now, this is one that I got, and I'm shouting out my dear sister, Asia Nasir. She is the creator of an awesome, phenomenal nonprofit called Jessica Cares. And she gave this idea when she was giving some tips on one of her lives that I listened to on IG. And when she said she started a success journal, or like literally it's a journal dedicated to her wins, her successes. And she was encouraging us to do that. I said, if that ain't just a dope idea, literally, I was just like, oh my God. I made sure I texted her and told her, I said, I love that idea. And I am jumping right on that immediately. And sure enough, yes, I did. So now I'm telling you all that, okay? You have your children create a success journal. So I don't care what it is. It could be something as simple as your child, you could tell your child to put in there, they finished all of their vegetables on their plate. That's a success. That's a win. Okay. Say if your child was there, you're trying to teach them how to tie their shoes and they were able to get through the first step. That's something that could be written in their journals. Okay. And yes, and even for your babies who are not able to write, you can actually talk to them about it, and you can actually help them in writing these things down. Because the moment your child, when they're able to understand certain things, implement it. Don't hold them back, because that's you awakening the genius inside of them. Don't start limiting them because you're like, oh, they too little to do this. Okay, maybe they can't physically write something yet, but if they're able to articulate, and then you go ahead and write it down, then yes, please make sure that you do that. All right. Number 6. Look up information on a Black person together. This is something that's very important. You know why? Because you have a lot of our youth, a lot of them, they don't know a lot of our history. They don't know about our ancestors like Malcolm X or Marcus Garvey. In fact, Marcus Garvey's birthday was like a couple of days ago, I believe, in this month. They don't know about Angela Davis. They don't know about Dr. Marva Collins. Now, they will know about a lot of times, of course, Rosa Parks, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., right? Those are the 2 names that they hear a lot. And I'm talking about on pretty much on all ages. And this is something, and this is a way in which you all can study together, and this is empowering them. So when it comes time for your child, when they're asked to do a report in school, to choose a person to do a report on, or maybe there's a time period or something like that they have to report on, now they are being inundated with this information about our people, our experiences. So yes, make sure that you all do things like that. Have some research, do some research on different Black folks or different things that has happened in Black history, and y'all do that together. Number 7, make sure they are eating healthy snacks while they are studying. This right here is something that's crucial. I've told this story before on one of my other podcasts, where I remember when I was tutoring a student. This was actually the first time that I can remember seeing this in one of my students, where her mother had a bowl of blueberries right there while she was getting her tutoring session in. And I was just like, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of stuff that I need for our children to be doing on a consistent basis. And it's so funny. I had actually went into one of the schools and did a sub assignment. And I had never seen this happen. A teacher literally had like a bushel of blueberries. And he started, now I wasn't on him like grabbing them, because he was like grabbing the blueberries, giving it to him. I'm kind of funny like that. I'm like, man, I'm touching myself. But anyway, the point is that he was giving them blueberries. And I was just like, wow. I said, okay. I said, there you go. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Because when you are giving your children or your child these healthy snacks, it's going to help them not only gain the information, it's going to help them retain the information, and it's going to help their moods. We already know our kids are coming to these schools, and I have to get on my children too, by the way. They like to eat the red hot fries. They like to eat the red popcorn, and they like to have the Skittles. They like to have this stuff for breakfast. They come into school with their pops, with their iced teas, their candy, and then they'll be talking about, why you all aren't passing the test. You all aren't getting the information. A big part of it too is their diet. What are they eating? If they're always eating junk, they're starting their day with junk. They're going through that. Then they go to the lunchrooms and they're eating these foods that ain't really, they're all processed, ain't nothing really healthy, especially in our schools and these public schools. Then when they leave the school, they got to go make they store run. They're doing all of that. Do you think that's going to help them when it comes to gaining information? Do you think that's going to even help them with their attitudes? All of that stuff too is linked to why we see a lot of our kids having these fights in schools. You got kids, they still are fighting. You got kids who are being bullied. And then you got the kids, they got the cameras ready. All of this stuff. Okay, a big part of it, again, is diet. And I'm not acting like I'm some health nut or whatever the case may be. But just like I tell my children, I say, when y'all see me, I say, y'all know good and well, I make sure I start off my day with some water and some fruit. I got some almonds or some pecans. I'm making sure I'm doing that. Okay, so now, number 8, we got to make them put their phones down at least for an hour a day. We have to make them do that, because when they are just totally consumed in those devices and they are not being able to look at the world around them, that right there is going to kill their curiosity and their creativity. Trust and believe. Trust and believe. They got to be able to take a break, pick up a book, do something other, draw, write in their journal, play some game, do something other than just having the device in front of them all throughout the day. And so that is something that I'm going to highly recommend, okay? Have them step away from that device at least for an hour a day. But guess what, y'all? There's a little caveat too that I got to put there. They got to see us as the adults. They got to see us doing that too. We can't tell them, put the device down. Y'all always on the device. You're always like this. And then here we go like this all the time too. And they see us. They're like, you ain't always reading a book on there, mama or daddy. Okay? Like you have to put that thing down too. Now I know for those of you, we handling our business. We're doing this and some of us may have our own businesses, or we have to take care of something. So of course that has to occur, right? We understand that as adults. However, they do need to see us at times not holding these in our hands. All right. Last 2, y'all. Now, number 9, while eating dinner or breakfast together, have them share something with you about a book that they have read. And you can go first, which I recommend that, especially when you are trying things like this out that are new. You got to demonstrate. You have to model for them what that looks like. So like, for example, one of the books that I just started reading is called Ebony and Ivy. Okay, and that book is talking about the history behind these universities, in particular these Ivy Leagues, and how it was built by our on racism. And our enslaved ancestors were used to build these universities. And I'm not just talking about on a physical sense. I'm talking about just, the whole inundation of that false notion of white supremacy culture that is inculcated in these universities. All right. So that's something right there. That's an example of what I gave in terms of how you can share what it is that you're reading with your child. And notice I said dinner or breakfast, or it could be lunch or whatever, because sometimes your only free time to eat together may be breakfast. It may be a snack together. It may be if you're riding your child, you take your child to school, you have to drive them to school, or you're walking them to school or something like that. When you all get back, you all can share a meal together, share a snack together, whether it's breakfast. You may be the only time y'all got together is breakfast. Utilize that time. Try to use different moments where you see you can create an opportunity. Number one, that's for you and your child to connect, or your children to connect with each other. And again, you guys are developing that relationship where you all are talking to each other. You are hearing the things that they have on their minds. How are their thought processes on different things? These things are very important, very crucial. And all of this is building strong foundational literacy skills. Okay. Last one, number 10. Let's do it. Be consistent with your literacy ideas. So whether the ideas are from me that I'm giving you, or there are some things that you have already thought about, or things that you're doing right now that you have been doing, please be consistent, because that's one thing for certain that our children, they really, they do not like. They do not like when things are started, and especially something that they enjoy and is good, and then we don't keep it up. And then we're teaching them what that looks like. We're teaching them that consistency actually is linked to success. It creates a discipline. That's how, when you see people who are successful, one of the main things that I hear them say, the main characteristics, is consistency. They're always doing whatever it is that's working for them over and over and over again. So, and as I try my best to say as much as possible on my podcast, as I remind you, I'm reminding myself. So I want you all to, again, utilize these keys, these tools to empower your child, especially they're going into these schools, whatever school they're going to. And even for my homeschoolers out there, my homeschooling parents out there, I hope that you all utilize this. And I would love for you all to, in the comment section, can you all please drop in there some different ideas, some tools, some tips, ways in which you can help, and things that you've utilized to help your child become successful when it comes to reading. All right. Because I want this to be our literacy empowerment community. Okay. We are helping each other. So with that being said, I thank you all for listening. And I hope that you all, again, gain much benefit from this episode of Real Reading Talk. I'm going to be ending season 3 very soon. So, and then I'm going to be gearing up, revving up for season 4, y'all. So you all make sure that you all stay tuned for that. And make sure that you are continuing to read for at least 30 minutes a day. Again, my name is Miss Sasha, and this has been another episode of Real Reading Talk. Be blessed. Reading is freedom. Peace. All right. So again, I hope that you all had your notebooks, you had your pens, your pencils, whatever it is that you want to write, your crayon, whatever you want to write with. I hope you were able to get those empowerment, those literacy empowerment keys written down, because again, I want this podcast to always be a place where you can come and you can get that knowledge, You are not just receiving knowledge from me. Of course, when I have guests on here, you guys are getting all the information, all the tips, all the tools that you need so that we can just totally trash that illiteracy rate that we see and that our Black community has been plagued with for decades, y'all. Again, like I told y'all before, it was not our fault, but it is our responsibility to eradicate these high levels of illiteracy that plague our Black community. Let's grow. Housekeeping real quick. Again, if you are looking for a pre-K through fourth grade reading tutor, please go to my website, abclearntutoring.com, and make sure you click on that free reading assessment today. Your babies, they're struggling with phonemic awareness, they're struggling with comprehension, they're struggling with fluency. Please make sure that you reach out to me. Don't wait till the middle of the school year, okay? Also, I'm the founder and executive director of ABC Read. ABC Read is the nonprofit organization that I started 10 years ago. Please go to abcread.org to see the work that we've been doing in the communities. And we would love for you to donate if you feel compelled to do so. And of course, my YouTube channel, Reading is Freedom. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, and leave comments. Please make sure that you're engaging. Even if you say something like, thank you, I appreciate it, great job, or you wanted to leave a comment about something that you wanted to give some constructive criticism. All of that is welcome, okay? I highly implore that you do that. And I want to draw your attention to that Reading is Freedom mug back there that you see. It's over my right shoulder. That is the brand that I created, Reading is Freedom. And I have a online store called readingisfreedom.store where I sell those mugs. I sell hoodies and shirts and tote bags because, again, I want to create these conversations, ignite a spark of conversations centered around literacy. All right. And this is a way, too, for us when we have these different reading slogans or shirts that I have on my site that say read. These are ways in which we can empower each other. We're becoming these literacy ambassadors. All right. So please make sure you go to the site and make your purchase today. And I just want to share with you all last 2 points. I am reading the book. I just started reading the book, Ebony and Ivy. I talked about it briefly when I gave the example during the episode. And that book is just talking about the racialized component of the foundation of how these universities began. Began on racism, surprise, surprise, right? So I'm reading the history of that. And I also want to leave you all with the quote by our dear brother. Well, it's the proverb. I actually said it during the episode, but I loved it so much. I said, I'm going to say this quote again for my quote, which is what the family talks about in the evening, the child will talk about in the morning. Okay. So make sure that we are intentional, y'all, about saying as much as possible great things, empowering words. Let's try to stay away from the negative things like I can't and I don't have this and I'm so broke, I'm so poor. All of that stuff that feeds into our children in their subconscious a defeatist attitude, as my dad would say. He did not want us to grow up with a defeatist attitude, and I do not want your children to have a defeatist attitude either. We come from greatness, so let's act like it. All right. Thank you all again for listening to another episode of Real Reading Talk. I am your most gracious host, Ms. Sasha. And with Real Reading Talk, I discuss the real systemic issues that are at the very core, the very foundation as to why we have high levels of illiteracy in the Black community and the ways in which we can combat these issues together. I thank you all for listening. Remember to keep reading for at least 30 minutes a day. And reading is freedom.